Know how your favorite drummers just kind of throw their hands around the kit and it just works? They're able to flow smooth as silk. Then we try it and get all jammed up. Well, with all the caveats aside, like, it is helpful if you have decent hands, touch, etc. There is something I've discovered that made my ability to flow around the drums like night and day. And I don't usually do lick lessons, but this simple choreography unlocked a lot for me when it comes to just throwing my hands down the drums with abandon and ending up with something serviceable. You can just copy it from here if you want it. Or click the link below the player and grab the transcription. Or take a little bit of the journey with me. We'll talk about the players that use it and what it allows you to do around the kit, how to assemble it from the component parts so you're not just memorizing a lick, and finally how to integrate it into what you're already doing so you can access it while you're improvising. So there's a drummer who I think is from New Zealand, who I've been seeing a lot in my Instagram feed, and he has a very free style around the kit. Stan Bicknell. Yeah, watch his flow with the left hand into the toms. And Josh Crawford, who's one of the most efficient choppers I've ever seen, uses this a lot. But also, Thomas Pridgeon, Vinny, Weckel, all the cats. And it looks complex, but there's one simple common denominator to enter the drums from the snare side of the kit. Here I am showing it to you again, so nobody can claim I'm playing coy. Hiding the sausage. Is that what that means? I'm just gonna leave. Oh, my name is Nate, and people call me the 80-20 drummer. And for years I've been dissecting what great drummers do, so regular folks like us can do it too. Anyway, today on the channel, the real reasons you can't flow around the drums like the pros do, and what to do about it. Stay tuned. And folks, today's video is brought to you by me, the 80-20 drummer. You might be tempted to transcribe some of the many licks we've got going on in this week's lesson. I'm here to tell you don't have to do that. We've done it for you, and you can download that for free by clicking the link below the player. That's it, on with the lesson. Let's start with how we learn the drums. Most of us learn to lead with our strong side. If we're right-handed, that means when we go to do a fill, we lead with the right hand down the kit. Later, when we get slightly more advanced, we start learning idioms like these. Here I am playing some of the very things I teach as basic vocabulary to start improvising on the drums. I think of these like basic nouns and verbs in a language. Here's another one. And here's yet another. Now I'll improvise with several of those together in what I call a matrix, where I'm alternating between classic rock and roll singles down the toms and some of these more modern vocabulary chunks. If you watch from above, it's super clear. All of these idioms are strong hand lead. Again, for my lefties, just imagine a mirror image. But what happens when we see stuff like Stan Bicknell or Thomas is doing? See how they're going from the snare and flowing down the toms super smoothly? But say we try to do this ourselves on day one. Turns out this is hard, and here's the exact reason why. Play 2 accents on the snare drum, one right after the other. Easy enough, right? Now play one with the lead hand on the snare and 3 on the floor tom. Little harder, but still reasonably easy, I would think. If you just add a left in between each of these, you can see we're just playing singles from the snare to the floor tom. Next, try the same thing going from snare to rack tom. Much more awkward, right? We can fix some of it with setup, making sure the rack tom is at a good angle, and we can practice flow exercises like this one from podcast guest Garris Yoakley. And if you really want to chop like the pros, those are important skills. But here's the crux of this lesson. Can we cue Morpheus?
I'm trying to tell you that when you're ready, you won't have to.
What if I told you you don't have to go from the snare to the rack tom with 2 rights? Because it turns out there's something easier that you can integrate into your playing right now while you work on your singles around the toms, which will give you access to all that cool vocabulary from the cats. With that intro out of the way, let's talk about it. Here's the key. You don't use your right hand to flow to the rack tom. You use your left. Here I am improvising with a few of the idioms I'm going to show you. Hopefully, I'm doing a good job of showing what even an average player like me can do with some of these ideas. And importantly, I'm not playing any consecutive rights from the snare to the rack tom. Okay, now let's look at some of these idioms, starting with the simplest. Idiom 1, the right, right, left. The right, right, left is one of the most useful 201 idioms you can learn on the kit. It's useful all over the place, as my friend Forrest demonstrates here, and my friend Josh demonstrates here. But to get started, I recommend using it with 2 rights on the snare and 1 left on the high rack tom. If you're left-handed, just reverse that sticking. Then you can just flow into all that other vocabulary you've been practicing. Here I am practicing some slow ideas with right, right, left. Now I'll play a little faster and experiment a bit. Here's the next idiom I like. It's right, left, left kick, but with the double left on the rack tom. Oh, idiom 2, right, left, left kick, with the 2 lefts on the high rack tom. A really common thing I like to do is play this idiom twice in a row, and the second time play all the notes on the rack tom. I'll pause so you can see from the overhead where my hands are located. Just like getting a finger over the ledge or a foot in the door, we're now situated with both hands over the rack tom, and we can flow down the kit from there. Another thing I like to do is combine this with right, right, left, and just make combos going back and forth between snare and rack tom with a kick in between. Idiom 3, the modified bonham. This is just singles, with an accent on the snare, then a left on the rack tom, then both hands on the floor tom. When I was very young, a drummer named Aaron Comas made this very sequence very famous with the Spin Doctors. Here I am mixing this in with some of the other idioms we've already covered. Here's a simple combo. Right, right, left kick, right, left kick, then singles. This will be transcribed for you, but don't just copy me. I'm giving you the system to make your own. Finally, let's return to our Kiwi friend, Mr. Bicknell. He does a 6-stroke variation on this that sounds awesome, like Vinny. And he executes it masterfully and creatively, and when you break it down, it's actually pretty simple. Idiom 4, the Stan Bicknell. He's going right, left, right with accents, then 2 lefts as ghosts, then kick drum. That sounds sick enough when you do it on 1 drum, or 1 tom with the ghosts on the snare. But what Stan likes to do is play each accent on a different drum, keeping the ghosts on the snare. You can move this around. And apropos of this lesson, it's a great way to enter the rack tom when you do snare, rack, snare. I've also been experimenting with thinking of this over sextuplets and starting with a 6-stroke roll like this. When you start to move around the kit more quickly like this, you start to get a handhold on some of the stuff Stan is doing in this clip. If you're kind of at the intermediate advanced stage and can already conceptualize how you might fit this into your playing, or just want to practice the licks in isolation, great. If you want a more systematic approach, check out my video here about my system called The Matrix and how to inject special licks more organically into your playing so that they come out when you improvise.
And that's how you get the gig!
Anyway, hopefully that's been one to grow on. You guys dig this? Leave a comment below. And remember, if you want a free transcription of the lesson, you can get that by clicking the link below the player and telling us where to send it on the next page. Dudes, it's been real. Always enjoyed these. See you again real soon in another Lesson of the Week. Let's get more energy. Energy! Energy! Don't want to jinx it, but I'm feeling like one take Johnny today.
And it's in time for my food! Yes! Yes! Yes!
Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
So good! So good! It's so good! Yes, we got it!